The vast darkness of space seemed to swallow every hope humanity had left. The alien fleet approached Earth's solar system like a massive shadow of destruction, its countless ships stretching beyond the horizon of human comprehension. Massive. Energy signatures pulsed from their advanced weaponry, each pulse a silent promise of complete annihilation. Captain J. Park stood on the bridge of the ESS Resilience, the last operational defense vessel from Earth's rapidly diminishing fleet. His hands gripped the command console, knuckles turning white as he watched the tactical displays. Red markers indicated incoming alien vessels, their numbers overwhelming, and their technology centuries beyond human understanding. Humanity had been caught completely unprepared. The first contact with the alien civilization, known as the Collective, had occurred just 18 months earlier. What began as a potential diplomatic encounter quickly transformed into a ruthless invasion. The aliens viewed humans as nothing more than a primitive species occupying valuable cosmic real estate. Military installations across Earth had been systematically destroyed. Major cities fell within weeks. Billions died in the initial assault, their technological defenses crumbling against weapons that could vaporize entire continents with a single discharge. Governments collapsed. Communication networks died. Humanity was pushed to the brink of extinction. The ESS Resilience represented humanity's last desperate attempt at survival. Cobbled together from damaged ships and retrofitted with experimental technology, it carried the hopes of an entire species. Jay knew the odds were impossible. Their weapons were like children's toys compared to the alien arsenal. In the communication center, Lieutenant Yoon-ji Kim monitored the incoming transmissions. Static and fractured signals told stories of desperate resistance groups scattered across the planet and orbiting space stations. Some were fighting. Most were dying. The silence between communications spoke volumes about humanity's dire situation. Dr. Hyun Cho, the ship's chief scientist, worked furiously at his station. Algorithms and defensive protocols scrolled across his screens faster than human eyes could track. He was humanity's last hope for understanding the alien technology, searching for any potential weakness in their seemingly invincible systems. The ship's crew represented the most diverse and talented individuals humanity could muster. Engineers, scientists, soldiers, and strategists, all united by a single purpose: survival. They knew the mission was essentially a suicide run, but something burned within their collective spirit, a determination that refused to surrender. Outside the ship's reinforced windows, the first wave of alien vessels began to appear. Their design was unlike anything humans had ever conceived. Massive crystalline structures that seemed to bend light and space around them. Each ship was larger than entire human cities, moving with a grace that suggested intelligence far beyond mechanical. Navigation. J. Park took a deep breath. Years of military training had prepared him for moments of extreme pressure, but nothing could truly prepare someone for the end of everything. He looked around at his crew, young faces filled with a mixture of terror and resolve. They were humanity's last line of defense. "Prepare defensive protocols," he commanded, his voice steady despite the overwhelming odds. "We might not win, but we'll make them remember humanity." The ship's systems began to hum with energy. Experimental shields, developed in secret laboratories during the final months of the invasion, flickered to life. They were untested, potentially unstable, but they represented humanity's final technological hope. As the alien fleet descended, something unexpected began to happen. The humans aboard the ESS Resilience didn't see defeat. They saw a challenge. They saw an opportunity to prove that humanity's spirit was more than just technology or military might. The darkness of space waited, holding its breath as the final battle for Earth's survival was about to begin. The ESS Resilience shook violently as alien weapons hit its shields. Inside the ship, Dr. Hyun Cho worked like a man possessed. Computer screens flickered with strange codes and impossible calculations. Something was happening, something no one expected. Humans had always been good at solving problems. When nothing worked, they found a way. This moment was going to prove that more than ever. Lieutenant Dong-Hyuk Lee watched a small device he had been working on for weeks. It was simple. Too simple. a tiny machine that could change everything. Most scientists had laughed at his idea. Now it might be their only chance. The ship's computer systems started doing something weird. They were learning, not just following instructions, but actually understanding and changing. Dr. Cho realized the human brain and computer systems were working together in a way no one had ever seen before. Outside, the alien fleet continued its attack. Their weapons were perfect, mathematical, predictable. But humans were none of those things. Humans were messy. Humans were creative. Humans could do the unexpected. Dong Hyuk's small device began to send out signals, strange signals that didn't make sense to the alien technology. It was like speaking a language the aliens had never heard before. Confusion started to spread in the alien communication networks. Captain J. Park watched the screens. Something was changing. The alien attack was becoming slower, less organized. Their perfect mathematical attack was breaking down. Dr. Cho discovered something amazing. Human brains could connect with computer systems in a way no one had understood before. Their creativity, their ability to think differently was becoming a weapon. The more the aliens tried to predict human actions, the more confused they became. The ship's young engineers started making rapid changes. They were taking broken equipment and creating new tools. A communication antenna became a weapon. A damaged cooling system became a shield generator. Humans were turning nothing into something. Lieutenant Yoonji Kim intercepted alien communication signals. She started to understand their language, not just the words, but the way they thought. And she realized something important. The aliens had a fatal weakness. They could not understand random, illogical actions. Humans were completely illogical, and that was their greatest strength. Dong Hyuk's device started to spread its signal across the ship's systems. Computers began to change. They were learning faster than any machine had ever learned before. The ship itself was becoming a living, thinking thing. Captain Park gave an order that would have seemed crazy just hours before. They were going to do something completely unexpected, something that made no sense, something the aliens would never predict. The ESS Resilience started to move in a pattern that looked random, but it wasn't random. It was a complex dance of mathematics and creativity that the alien systems could not understand. Alien ships started to slow down. Their perfect attack was falling apart. They had fought thousands of civilizations before, but they had never fought humans. Dr. Cho realized they were creating a new kind of technology, a technology that combined human creativity with machine learning, something that could adapt faster than any computer had ever adapted before. The ship's systems were changing, becoming something new, something alive. The line between human and machine was disappearing. Outside, the alien fleet began to look confused. Their perfect mathematical attack was breaking down. Humans were doing things that made no sense. And that was making the aliens afraid. Lieutenant Kim intercepted a communication. The aliens were scared. For the first time in their history, they were facing an enemy they could not predict. Humans had found their weapon. Not a gun, not a bomb, but something far more powerful. Their unexpected potential. The battle was just beginning, and everything was about to change. The ESS Resilience moved like a ghost through space. Commander Sungmin Kang had a plan that seemed impossible, but impossible was something humans did best. Alien supply lines stretched across multiple star systems. They were long, they were strong, and they were about to be broken. Small teams of human soldiers prepared for missions that looked like suicide. They carried special devices, created by Dr. Hyun Cho. These were not normal weapons, these were something different, something the aliens would never expect. Lieutenant Yoonji Kim discovered a weakness in the alien communication network. It was tiny, almost invisible. But in that small weakness, humans saw an opportunity. The first attack came suddenly. A small, human team appeared near a massive alien supply station. They did not fight. They did not shoot. Instead, they sent strange signals that confused the alien systems. Computer networks started to break down. Alien ships began to lose communication. Their perfect system was falling apart, and they did not understand why. Commander Kang watched the first attacks happen. Humans were not fighting like a normal military. They were fighting like a living computer virus, moving, changing, adapting. Dr. Cho's special devices worked like magic. They could enter alien computer systems and change things, not destroy, not break, but change. Make things work differently. Alien supply ships stopped moving. Some turned around. Some flew in crazy directions. Their perfect mathematical systems were becoming confused. The human teams were small, just 10 or 20 people. But they moved fast. They were smart. They used everything around them as a weapon. A broken computer could become a tool. A simple radio could become a communication disruptor. Lieutenant Dong-hyuk Lee led one of these teams. His team could enter alien stations and change everything in minutes. They were not soldiers. They were more like computer hackers who could move in space. Alien commanders started to get worried. Their perfect invasion was falling apart. Humans were doing things that made no sense. And that was their biggest weapon. Each human mission was different. Each mission changed the rules. The aliens could not predict what would happen next. And that made them afraid. Some missions destroyed supply lines. Some just confused alien systems. Some sent messages that made alien ships do strange things. Humans were writing a new kind of war. Commander Kang knew they could not win by fighting normally. They had to be creative. They had to be crazy. They had to do things no one would expect. The ESS Resilience became more than a ship. It became a living weapon. Its computer systems were changing, learning, becoming something new. Alien communication networks started to break down. Their perfect invasion was falling apart. Humans were winning by being unexpected. Dr. Cho discovered that human creativity was a weapon stronger than any gun. The more the aliens tried to understand humans, the more confused they became. Lieutenant Kim continued to intercept alien communications. She was learning their language, understanding how they thought, and finding more ways to confuse them. The counteroffensive was not about killing. It was about changing the rules of the game. Humans were showing the aliens that technology was not just about machines, it was about creativity. Small human teams continued their missions. Each mission was different. Each mission changed something. The aliens could not stop them because they could not understand them. Commander Kang looked at the star maps. Something was happening. The alien invasion was falling apart. Not because of big battles, but because of small, crazy human actions. Humans were writing a new chapter in space warfare. A chapter the aliens would never forget. The Battle of Proxima changed everything. Humans were no longer running. They were fighting back. Captain J. Park looked at the star map. One moment could change everything. His plan was crazy, but crazy was what humans did best. The alien fleet thought they were winning. Their ships were huge. Their weapons were perfect. They had destroyed thousands of civilizations before, but they had never fought humans. Dr. Hyun Cho had discovered something strange in the alien technology, a small weakness, something so tiny that no one would notice. But humans were good at finding small things. The ESS Resilience moved differently now. It was not just a ship. It was a living thing. Its computer systems were changing, learning, becoming something new. Lieutenant Dong-hyuk Lee prepared special devices. They looked simple. Too simple. But simple was often the most powerful weapon. The alien ships approached Proxima system. They expected another easy victory. They did not know what was waiting for them. Commander Sungmin Kang gave the order. Hundreds of small human ships appeared. They were not big, they were not strong, but they were smart. The first attack was not with weapons. It was with signals. Strange signals that made no sense. Signals that confused the alien computer systems. Alien ships started to do weird things. Some turned around. Some stopped moving. Some crashed into each other. Their perfect invasion was falling apart. Dr. Cho's devices worked like magic. They entered alien computer systems and changed everything. Not by destroying, but by making things work differently. Lieutenant Yoonji Kim intercepted alien communications. She heard their confusion, their fear. They did not understand what was happening. The human ships moved in a pattern that looked random, but it was not random. It was a complex dance of mathematics and creativity. Captain Park knew they could not win by fighting normally. They had to be unexpected. They had to be creative. Small human teams entered alien ships, not to fight, but to change things, to make the aliens confused. The Battle of Proxima was not about killing. It was about changing the rules of the game. Alien weapons tried to target human ships, but the human ships moved in ways that made no sense. They were not following normal rules of space fighting. Dr. Cho's computer systems were learning faster than any machine had ever learned before. The line between human and machine was disappearing. Commander Kang watched the battle. Humans were doing things no one had ever done before. They were fighting with creativity, with unexpected actions. The alien fleet started to break apart. Their perfect invasion was falling apart, not because of big weapons, but because of small, crazy human actions. Lieutenant Lee's special devices continued to work. They entered alien systems and changed everything, making the aliens more confused. The battle lasted only hours, but it would change everything forever. Captain Park gave the final order, a signal that seemed impossible, a signal that would change the entire war. The ESS Resilience moved forward. It was more than a ship now. It was a living weapon of human creativity. Alien commanders watched in shock. Their perfect invasion was falling apart. Humans were doing things that made no sense. Dr. Cho realized they were creating a new kind of technology, a technology that combined human creativity with machine learning. The Battle of Proxima became a legend. The moment humans showed the universe that they were different, that they could do the impossible. The tide was turning, and nothing would be the same again. Humans were no longer running. They were fighting back, and they were winning. The universe watched as humans did something nobody expected. They were not just fighting back. They were taking control. Commander Sung-Min Kang stood on the bridge of the ESS Resilience. The alien technology lay broken around them. Months of fighting had changed everything. Humans had discovered something powerful. Their creativity was a weapon stronger than any gun. Their ability to think differently was more dangerous than any bomb. Dr. Hyun Cho worked on understanding the alien technology, not to destroy it, but to learn from it. To make something new, the remaining alien ships looked confused. They had conquered thousands of civilizations before, but humans were different. Humans changed the rules of the game. Lieutenant Yoonji Kim intercepted alien communication signals. She heard their fear, their confusion. They did not understand what was happening. Small human teams moved through alien space stations. They were not destroying. They were taking apart, learning, understanding. Captain J. Park knew this was more than a war. This was about showing the universe who humans really were. The experimental computer systems on the ESS Resilience continued to learn. They were becoming something new, something alive. The line between human and machine was disappearing. Alien technology started to change. Humans were not just fighting. They were transforming everything they touched. Lieutenant Dong-hyuk Lee discovered how to use alien systems in ways their creators never imagined. A communication device became a power generator. A weapon became a medical tool. Humans were breaking all the rules. They were doing things that made no sense, and that was their greatest strength. Dr. Cho realized they were creating a new kind of technology, a technology that combined human creativity with machine learning, something the universe had never seen before. The remaining alien commanders tried to fight back, but their systems were falling apart. Humans had found their weakness, their inability to understand creativity. Small human teams continued their missions. Each mission changed something. Each mission showed how humans could adapt. Commander Kang watched as human colonies started to grow. Not by destroying, but by understanding, by learning, by changing. The alien infrastructure began to collapse, not because of big battles, but because of small, unexpected human actions. Lieutenant Kim continued to learn the alien language. She discovered their history, their culture, and she found ways to show them that humans were different. The ESS Resilience became more than a ship. It became a symbol of human potential, a living proof that creativity was the most powerful weapon. Dr. Cho's team started to rebuild alien technology, not to copy, but to improve, to make something new. Humans were not just taking back their space, they were changing the entire universe. Captain Park looked at the star maps. Humans were expanding, learning, growing. They were no longer just survivors. They were creators. The alien civilization that had tried to destroy humanity was now learning from humans, watching how humans could turn destruction into creation. Small human teams continued to move through alien space. They were not conquerors. They were explorers, learners, creators. Commander Kang knew this was just the beginning. Humans had discovered something powerful, their ability to change, to adapt, to create. The universe was watching, and the universe was learning. Humans were no longer the small, weak species the aliens had thought they were. They were something new, something unexpected. The reclamation was complete, but it was more than taking back space. It was about showing the universe what humans could do. Creativity, adaptation, unexpected potential.